Welcome back to Eastern Plains of Colorado here on McCaffrey Farms. My name's Alan, and what I'm doing with this channel, I'm trying to show you guys what it's like to farm on the Eastern Plains of Colorado with a moderately sized family farm that runs a little bit older of equipment. We raise corn, wheat, milo, and hay grazer. But for now, what we're doing is we're using a neighbor's disc to farm up some of the fields that we are going to be planting our hay grazer, or what we call feed, into here in the next week or two, hopefully. There's some bad cheatgrass on here, and it got out of hand because in May we got quite a bit of rain, which we were very thankful for, but we weren't able to get in and do anything else when we wanted to, and so it got out of hand. And our sweep that we always like to use the most, it plugs up when cheatgrass is halfway bad, and so we didn't want to use that because it would have made it a pain. And so we got our neighbor's disc. We're going to be going through and doing this. I'm about to finish up the first quarter section, also 160 acres for those of you that don't know. I'm getting close. This is a field that we planted milo on. Here in a little bit I'll do right along there, and then I'll do the turn rows. This is the first field of, I believe, 4 that we are wanting to disc. We're going to be finishing this field up soon, and then we're just going to be moving on the other side of this one. There's 90 acres on that next field, so I'll easily be able to get this and that field done, and hopefully at least moved over. But it is working up really nice. This is a bit of the before shot. This spot isn't quite as bad. That could almost be manageable with a sweep. But coming into parts like this, it does get a little bit thicker. This isn't even some of the worst stuff. And so that's why we're using a disc. And then that's what it looks like after. It's burying it all pretty well. It is a little drier than we'd like to have it. Like I said, the month of June, we haven't got any rain yet, which isn't terrible yet. There is still some forecasted in a few days, but for right now, it's a little drier than we like. The wheat is looking pretty good, and I believe all of our milo is now coming up. Like I said, we had a 3.5 week time period during May where we weren't able to get in and do anything because it was thankfully raining. But now we're being able to get in. We got the milo planted. It's all coming up good. Everything is dying really nice. And hopefully soon we can be getting this planted to feed, because here, I don't even know when a good estimate would be, but here soon we will be getting combines ready and we will be rolling with wheat harvest. Wheat is really changing in the last few days. It's been a little bit warmer. And so here soon, wheat will be ready. It's already getting quite a bit of yellow golden color to it, which is good. It looks like it's filling out really well, so hopefully we'll have a decent yield. But for right now, we're gonna finish working this up. We still gotta do a little bit to our drills before we can plant. Once we get this worked up, we'll get those drills going, and then we'll start rolling with planting this to feed, and then hopefully we can get that done within the next week or two. Here is a little bit of an example of why we are disking. This is very thick right in here with cheatgrass, and once we hit it with the disc, it's burying it all really well. We should be able to drill straight into this. I'll leave that decision up to Dad, see what he thinks. Hopefully we can, because spots like this on the hills, it's a lot drier, and I mean, it's working up even better. I know for sure we could drill into that. Hopefully we can drill right into it so we don't have to work it again. Overall, it's doing good. I'll just have to see what Dad says and what he wants to do. Since I am getting close to being done with this field, I'm gonna run along this field right in here. The angle's pretty close, but we are gonna change it a little bit. Right now, the angle we are running is the AB line. If you can see that, It says it's running about 89.58 degrees. We want it more at 90. That way, when we work on either one of these fields, we can just do an A+ direction, type in 90, and the line will work out perfectly each time for these edges. It'll make it look a little nicer, and it'll be a little bit easier because we'll use this tractor to drill the feed. And so like that, all we'll have to do is we'll drill it straight back and forth. So we'll just have to kind of get it lined up where we want it, hit A, type in 90 degrees, and the line will work out. And we won't have to guess where we want it, because that line is a little bit iffy on where I planted the milo. There's quite a few spots that aren't very straight. I couldn't really tell where the line was because the cheatgrass was pretty even, and I couldn't see the old milo stubble or the old hay grazer stubble. But just doing this make it a little bit simpler and easier for us. That way it won't be quite as hard, and we'll have a lot more definite line on where the fields are. Meanwhile, while I'm running this tractor and disking, Dad's been working on the sprinkler on the county line where the corn is. I think he went through and checked all the grease in the gearboxes, make sure there was no water in them, make sure they were full. And I know he said he also checked the air pressure in the tires. And so I think he should be done by now. I talked to him a little bit ago. He said he's getting close, and so the sprinkler should be running again. And watering the corn, it's looking really good too. It's starting to get pretty tall, nice dark and green, just like we want it. There is a little bit of grass in it. I think he's going to talk to my brother Justin, who does our spraying for us, see what he thinks we should do, because here soon it will be getting big enough to where it kind of shades the ground. And I know a lot of people say that's a good time to spray it, because then that should help with weeds not coming up later. I don't know, we'll have to talk to him. But it's looking really good. And then the feed at home, we've got that sprinkler going. If you saw a few of the last videos, it's really starting to grow too. There for a little bit, we were kind of worried about the sand because it got a little hard. We didn't get the sprinkler going quite as soon as we wanted to. I think we had another one of the contactors go bad, and so it wasn't moving. We had Hitchcocks come work on it. They got it going for us. We've only had to pull it out twice so far, and it's made a couple rounds after that. So hopefully we're good on that. But now that we've got it watered and it's a little bit warmer, everything is coming up pretty good. And so hopefully that will be starting to grow real good, and we can swath it and get a good cutting off of it. Ideally, we'd like to get 2 off of it, get a few more bales off of it, and then be able to get it to grow up a little bit and maybe put cows out on it for a while. So right now what I'm doing is I'm gonna try and get this line set. This one should be pretty dang close to 90 already, but what I'm doing is I'm running a little bit of ways away from it so I can see kind of where I need to shift it to make it work out the best. So I'm gonna run this one. I have it set on 90 right now. So then once I get down there, I'll see kind of where I think I need to have it set to where the line works out the best for both this field and this field without taking too much milo, but without leaving too much stuff where we won't have anything planted. So that's what I'm doing now. Should be a little bit over half a width left, relatively, because Justin did spray a little bit out into this field, I think. Once I get down to the end, I'll know kind of where I think I need to have it shifted over to. That way, it'll work out the best. Okay, I think I got it pretty decent. I'm not taking out too much right now. I know I'm gonna be taking out a little more around this hill because I got a little too far that way planting milo, but I think it goes out a little farther that way. Either way, I'm not taking out a whole lot. It should be only 3 rows at the most. It's all fairly well in line. It's just a matter of how terribly I did planting this. And I think for the most part, I was kind of planting into a little bit of milo stubble anyways. So it should all even out pretty well. And then this way we'll have it to where it'll all be lined up, and next time all we got to do is punch in 90 degrees and we'll be good to go. I've got the turn rows on the east side of the field done. I'm heading back to the west side. I'll do the turn rows there. I'm gonna have to come back east one more time though. Look at how narrow of a strip I'm leaving. That's kind of irritating. It's like 5 foot maybe. So I'm gonna have to overlap like 30 feet, but it is what it is. There's a driveway on that side, so it won't be terrible. Okay, I'm going here on this next field. I got it lined up about with that row. Should be about right. I do think that the old line kind of veers to the north a little bit, so I might end up taking out this first row a touch. Hopefully it'll kind of work to keep it going down the rest of the field. I don't know if it will or not yet, but we'll see. But we'll at least have this stuff lined up to 90 degrees. Where straight back and forth will work out right. This field looks pretty good. It's getting pretty clean. Everything's dying really well. This wasn't very bad at all, which kind of surprised me. I think it's a little more sandier even on this side. Off over there is really sandy, but it's looking really good. I can't see, actually yes I can. There's Milo coming up on that. That means there's only one field, or well, 2 fields we haven't been by since we've planted them, but I think pretty easily could say that they should about be up. It's hard to say. All 4 of these fields within this area are. So I know there was a little bit of delay because of the planter problems we had, but those 2 fields, if they're not up yet, they'll probably be poking through anytime, and all of our Milo will be up. I just got flipped around. I'm heading back west. I was actually able to use auto steer all the way down this row, the full mile, so this whole field will be set up on 90, which is great. I didn't know how well it would work. Pretty good actually for having it worked out, so that'll be nice. Be able to do all the row on 90 degrees. I am going to redo next to where we planted Milo because I was over a little bit farther. I did have to snap it once I got this way, but I need to go over that a second time anyways, because there's a spot where some sand blew in and it's very rough, and I want to go over that, try and get it smoothed out a little bit. And I know this field came out perfectly when I planted it. I didn't have to snap it over. I was able to use the auto steer line, and so that side should be set on 90 as well. It'll just be a matter of how well it works out with the disc, because I think we have it set at 33 right now, 33 feet. All 4 of these fields should be set up pretty well, at least with the ones where they are right next to another field. So that'll be nice for later on in the future. So this was kind of the area I was talking about. Still a little bit on this pass, nowhere near as bad, but right in there, a lot of sand kind of blew over from that field and got really rough, so I had to go over that twice. Still not amazing, but it's a lot better than what it was. Then hopefully when we come through with the drills, where we have hoe drills. That'll help a little bit as well. I got everything all on one pass. Everything's good, so now I'll keep working to the north, hit that edge and try and get that lined up on 90. It's about there anyways. It might just be a half a degree off or something. So time we're done with this, both sides should be lined up on 90 and be good to go. This won't take quite as long. I don't know when I'll get done. It's 1:30 now. It's a 90-acre field and I'm already 2 rounds down. So this one won't take real long, and then I'll see where Dad wants me to go next. I'm just doing the last pass here on this field, then I'll have to do the turn rows on the west side of the field. I do have it to where the north end will work out good for the 90-degree angle as well. However, when I was trying to find the last row of Milo to set my line to go off that, I thought I found it, and so I set it there and I started going, and I got part way down the field, or I got a ways down the field and realized I was a little too far over. By a little too far over, I mean like 10 foot. I think there were some old weeds that kind of looked similar, and I should have got out and actually looked to make sure instead. But there's a little spot where we're just gonna have to let the grass regrow. But I do have it to where we will be able to pick up the line when we drill. But Dad is here and he's gonna help me move down. I'm gonna hop in with him. Our Dodge is over at that old house. So once I get this done, I'll hop in with him. We'll go get that pickup, take it down to the next field, and then he'll drop me off here. I'll get in this tractor, head down there and get started on that field. It's 5:15, so won't get a whole lot of it done. Time we get everything moved around, but should get a decent little chunk of it out. And then tomorrow should be able to finish that field up. And then the other field, it's 160 acres. It's one we originally kind of wanted to plant to Milo. You'll see it in the last planting video if you watch that. It's really, really bad with cheatgrass. It's worse than these other 3 fields we're doing. So that's why we didn't end up planting to Milo, and we're gonna work it up with the disc and plant some feed into it, and hopefully that'll take care of it. No big deal on that either. This will just be a little bit better way to do it, because planting into it would have been a nightmare. Okay, so today is now Wednesday, I believe. Back to discing on this 3rd field. I got a decent amount of it done so far. However, some funky's kind of happening and I don't know what's going on. But this one, this end will immediately shoot up out of the ground. And I think I see our problem. This end was immediately shooting up out of the ground and everything else was taking a little while and not wanting to raise up. However, I think we might have a broken cylinder. Indeed, I think we do. I think it's just one. I'll show you, I'll look at these other 2 and I'll show you what I mean. So, that's how it's supposed to be. Now let's make our way to this other one with some careful walking. That one looks good. Not supposed to be like that. So, yeah, those threads are messed up. I'm gonna have to call Dad, I guess. Dad's on his way back. He didn't get too far away from the field, I don't think. It will take him a little while, but he's gonna come back, pick me up, then we're gonna go back home and get the red Ford because it's got a lot more tools on it. We've just been using the Dodge because all we need in the mornings are grease guns and fuel tanks, and so we had that on the Dodge. but all the tools are on the red Ford, so he's gonna come get me. We're gonna go home, get the red Ford, and then we're gonna try and see what we need to do with that cylinder. Don't know exactly what we'll have to do yet, but we'll get it off, try and get it off and see from there. And I'm back. As you can see, I'm at the 8400 drills. Just started planting feed. I know this isn't a feed planting video. I tried to get the rest of the disking in it, but Dad did that while I cultivated and side dressed and started planting feed, so I wasn't around the disking. But we did get a cylinder and Dad got it put on. As of now, he's down to 160 acres left, the last field. He's just got to get that done tomorrow. I apologize that I wasn't able to get the rest of that video. We just had both tractors going and I wasn't at that tractor, but that's going to be all for this video. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos to come. Like I said, we just started planting feed. We got a couple 100 acres to do, so it should be a decent video or two on that. But otherwise, thank you for watching. If you enjoy the channel, be sure to consider subscribing for me and like the video. But as of now, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.